Episode of Sorcery Shenanigans. Everyone's on the screen, so say hello. So give it a wave. They're all there. I am your DM Wayne. Here are your players. And we are here for episode 10 of Sorcery and Shenanigans. It has been a while since we have played because we were all doing, all of our schedules were all over the gaff. Some of us had very impressive trips out of the country while the rest, some of other of us were doing other things. Work related, comic related, all sorts of related stuff. So we are here online. We're doing it like this for this episode. We hope to have it in person for our next episode, for episode 11. But we're here, episode 10. And just before we jump into everything, we want to give a shout out to our two sponsors, Dublin City Comics and Dakota Irish. Dublin City Comics. You can go into them on their Cable Street store, or you can visit them at wobbly.dublincitycomics.ie, and they are the purveyor of all things excellent, be it comic books, action figures, Gundam. They now have a very large wallet straining selection of Warhammer 40k stuff that just literally
look at Darren's face.
Yeah, they posted this thing up the other day. There are these new figures that have come out from a Japanese company that are like fully articulated space marines, and they look fantastic. But they have them in Dempsey. So go check them out. They are our sponsors. They have our giveaway prize from the last episode, which we will show at the break. It's a copy of the Elric Bane of the Black Sword graphic novel from Titan Comics. Is our giveaway from the last episode. We also have a new giveaway, a Dungeons and Dragons themed giveaway for this episode, which we will show you at the break, and it is fantastic. Any fans of Drizzt Do'Urden and the Heroes of the Hall, or the Companions of the Hall, will be very much wanting to enter this competition. I can tell you that now. So the second sponsor is Dakota Irish. Now, we don't have a discount code for Dakota Irish because they're in the middle of a very impressive sale at the moment. So go check them out. They've got so they can only do one or the others, but they have, I think it's across the board. They had a sale on a lot of their products at the moment, and they're also looking for people to take part in a consumer survey, which will also give you another discount on top of the sale for items as well. So go check them out at dakotairish.com, and we will be back on the next episode. We hope to have something shiny from them to give away to you, as well as a discount code. So there's more coming from Dakota Irish. Also, just to put this in here now, because this is now, we're recording this on a Wednesday, hope to have it up by this Friday, hopefully into the weekend. But I am guesting on D8 Dungeons. I'm not guesting, I'm a member of their cast, I guess, on D8 Dungeons Random DMs, which is every second Thursday is a stream of a bunch of us, myself and a bunch of other DMs, and we rotate the DM seat every second week. And we are currently playing through.
Such a great idea.
It's a lot of fun, and it's very chaotic, and very different every single session. Every single session so far has been very, very different, and you can see each of the DM's own personalities eking into how the games run, and it's a fantastic group of players as well. And I'm very, very happy to be asked to be taking part in it, and also to be with that group of players as well. It's fantastic to actually play a character in a game as well as DM. So you can go check that out on their Twitch stream or on their YouTube channel. So it's not this Thursday; it'll be the following Thursday. So June the 8th is the next episode, and we're going through the Lost Mines of I always get these names mixed up. It's the Fandel and Fandelver thingy, because the Lost Mines of but then there's also a town in it called Fandelven. So I mean, whoever wrote these in things for D&D, they need to work on their wordings and alliterations. But we are playing through that at the moment, so go check it out. So back to us, Sorcery Shenanigans, where we last left off on episode 9. The group had managed to get themselves to the safe port where they docked the Silver Spear of this floating citadel of mishmash of ships known as the Flotsam to the crew of the Silver Spear. And it is a huge city made up of the remnants of kind of privateer vessels past, as this huge floating city moves through the void. The Silver Spear docked with it. The crew disembarked to bring their unconscious captain, Migna, to some friends of the crew to find out what the hell is going on. We also had some interesting situations happen to Zilzara as she found herself in the middle of a weird kind of out-of-body experience as seemingly two goddesses fought over her, I want to say, soul or existence, and more of that to come maybe down the line, but it definitely left Zilzara with something to think about. And is this all tied into what's happening with the captain? They met a goblin called Grezz, who kind of told them that he needed time to find out what the issue was with the captain, and gave them the option of helping him with 2 tasks. One of them more immediate than the other. They needed to find out what was happening with the city as local power outages kept plaguing their workshop and the surrounding areas, as the arcane energy that powers the city kept dropping off, leaving them in total darkness at different intervals. And also, he asked them if they would be willing to take part in a race through the city to help him and his team win big on a pot that his partner had betted heavily on, pretty much betting the shop on this race. And they agreed to both. They then left the workshop, headed back out into the city, and just as they were heading out to mingle in with the crowd, it was felt by the group that they were being watched and somebody was following them as they made their way out looking for the most local branch of the Red Shields, which are the local kind of militia that are made up of all the pirate crews, who take rotations on manning these positions as the law enforcement of the city, and looking for the local office of the Red Branch to investigate further into the power outages. They felt like somebody was watching them from afar. And that is where we're going to pick it up now, as the 3 of you find yourself not meandering, but definitely kind of trying to keep your eye out as the directions that Grezz gave you as you left the workshop. It was pretty local. It's only a couple of blocks over as you find yourself wandering. Let me see now. Everyone give me a perception check, please.
Sure. Is Lopan still on the roof?
I think
Yeah.
Lopan had gone up on the roof when you were on your way to the workshop, where he first saw a hooded female individual off in the distance, seemingly stalking you.
Right.
Okay.
Perception, was it?
Perception, please, and thank you.
Yeah, I got a 7. I'm just using one of my
14.
I got a 19.
Okay. Zilzara, you are pretty sure that there is definitely somebody following you as you get deeper into the crowd. The other two, you're kind of like looking around, seeing it, but you're looking at it very obviously. Where Zilzara, you're kind of this corner of your eye, and you definitely get the sense that you are being watched in some way, and you're being tailed by somebody. And as you look behind you, you get a glimpse of a hooded figure ducking into a side alley, and then disappearing. From the directions that Grezz gave you, you're now moved on a bit further as you're milling through the crowd, as there seems to be hustle and bustle around you, as individuals of all shapes and sizes, races, are milling past. Everyone just getting on with their day. The sights and smells of the city now enveloping you, as you get the scent of coming off the next street over. What seems to be a definite scent of cooking food, mixtures of kind of like spices and baked breads, and it's that kind of smell just gently wafting as you come up to the end of the street and you look off to your right as you see a curved street goes down into an open square that seems to be a large marketplace filled with all sorts of stalls, eateries, and it's teeming with people. What are the group doing at this point?
I am going to let the other two know that I noticed somebody following us, but they ducked away before I could, follow them. Not necessarily that actually Z wouldn't be ours following them. Anyway, but I am going to let the other two know, just to kind of keep your wits about you, I guess. We don't know who might be around.
Did you get a look at them? I can't believe it's happened twice now, and it's only been an hour or two. So was it the same?
Yeah, no.
Or...
I didn't get a good look at them.
I did.
Or did I with that perception roll?
You just saw a hooded figure.
I just saw a hood.
Ducking, you caught the corner of a side of a face as it kind of pulled the hood up and ducked off to the right hand side of the street and down an alleyway.
Yeah, it's amazing if you don't want to get spotted, how good a hood is good at concealing you. So it could be the person before, or it could be another guy. We'll keep an eye out anyway. Do you want me to maybe go up on the roofs again? Get I was gonna say a bird's eye view, but a rabbit's eye view, or just pretend we don't notice and hope that they get comfortable and come out again so we can spot them.
I mean, maybe. We're perceptive enough if they come back, I think. If we just stay together, we don't have far to go.
Yeah, I vote stay together, stick to the plan.
No worries, I'm good at doing that. Well, I'm not, but I'm hoping to get good at it, so.
Hey, Lopan, I find it hard to get good hoods for my ears. What do you do?
Ear push-ups. That helps a lot. You just as the cloak goes over, you go and you bend them. But naturally, I can't do it right this minute. But it's amazing. When the hood goes up, I can definitely do one, and that's really what you need. Just the one.
That's true. The fur on the back of my neck is up a little bit, but I'm not too bothered. I'm gonna keep going with everybody.
Okay. So, Lopan, are you going up on the roof, or are you staying where you are?
No, I'm going to, as I said, try for once to stick with the group and not go. So I'm going to do that.
Okay. So the trees stick together. What direction are you going in? So the directions that gave you that the seemingly that the Red Shields branch office is kind of on the other side of this marketplace. It seems to be you have to go through the marketplace to get to it, or else you'd have to go around the market, which is a longer walk.
Yeah, I think we'd go through, wouldn't we, fam?
Yeah.
With one eye open for any nice trinkets.
Okay. You're moving through. You start to push forward and move through the crowd, and again, it is teeming, and you see children around here. It's a weird thing because this is essentially a pirate safe haven. For a better word, it is a pirate safe haven, but there are families here. And there's kids milling about the place. Everyone seems like it's just a normal day. It could be any city that you've ever been in before. You get kind of remembrances of Neverwinter, of Baldur's Gate, and Grey with your travels. It reminds you of many a city you've been in, and only when you look up and see the layer upon layer of other kind of areas and streets that are on top that seem to form this large globe of a world that's floating in the void, you get a little bit disorientated and you realize you're on a city that's floating in space, and it's wacky. And then you see when you look up, and while there are some buildings that are very normal looking buildings with that kind of the architecture's got the wooden beams and the tiled roofs, then you see some buildings partially made out of remnants of ships with large bows sticking out, and the adorned with wooden figurines just above the doorway, as this kind of oval shaped marketplace opens up in front of you, and you see people there's a large tabaxi, big kind of ginger hair streaked through with white, and they kind of look up and they're selling large mounds of fruit, weird looking things they look like large giant grapes on big bushels, leaves sprouting off the top, and they're holding large kind of clumps of them, and they're gesturing as people walk past, and they catch your eye and they give you a nod and they gesture with the fruit and kind of like offering it up. And then you like, as you're going through this, you see more and more of these people trying to sell their wares, like some races you've never seen. You see another griff that you saw on the ship on the Silver Spear as the cook, like this hippo-like features, as a couple of them moving about, but these look a bit different. They seem to be in kind of militaristic garb with kind of like pauldrons and very well ironed, stiff attire, long sabers at their hilt.
Thanks, I love it.
Yeah, bandoliers across some of them, looking very stern, but not like in any way pushing their imposing figures on themselves. They're just making their way through this marketplace just like anyone else. There's a couple of tieflings, there's a few elves, elves of very weird complexions, like pale skin, like obviously you have Zilzara with her kind of mauvish, kind of purple skin of a drow, but then you have these elvish looking creatures that are like translucent, like this kind of pale, almost see-through skin. Like you can swear, like think Lestat in Interview with a Vampire, you just see the veins on the face and stuff, and bright, like pale blue eyes.
Axolotl elves.
Yeah. And like a lot, like the ears, like I mean, like while Zilzara has her pointed ears, these elves have a long, elongated ears with fur on the end and streaked silver hair that are spills down over their back and their neck and down their back, and it's a smorgasbord of culture and race, and it's just melted in together, and everyone is just going about their day, and it's kind of weirdly welcoming. Because you like, particularly like Lopan and Grey, even Zilzara, because all three of you kind of at moments throughout your lives have felt like you don't really fit in anywhere, and now you're just here, and it's like
misfits. Yeah,
it's all different. It's all different. It's not like a city full of humans or a city full of dwarves or like a drow city. It's just a city for everything, and there's a weird welcoming feeling in all of your chests. Even you, Zilzara, slightly. Not as much as the others, maybe, but slightly. As you're kind of going, this actually feels a bit comfortable. But then just as that feeling starts to sink in, again, Zildar, at the back of your mind, you feel there is somebody watching us. What does the group want to do here? What do you want to do at any point? You are in the marketplace. There's a lot going on around you.
When I get offered one of those strange fruits, I go like a real worried look, kind of like take a step back as if I've seen a ghost, and I'm like, no, thanks very much, but like I don't go near any weird fruit. Like friend of mine Tomo said, like if you mess with that, like it could turn into a centaur or something, so I'm staying away from it. Thanks very much, like, you know, but no thanks, like stick with me carrots, and I just
if the twist of this campaign that Tomo turns out to be Gurk.
Oh my god!
I've already dropped
he just
that.
knows Gurk. Yeah.
I've already dropped. That's possible, but I've already dropped it. That Tomo is a minotaur.
There you
I've
go.
said it at least once.
So there you go.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
There you
Anyway,
go.
for anyone who doesn't know who Gurk is a character that Darren played in one of our other home campaigans.
Yeah, and our one shot, Wayne.
Yeah, it's a one shot that lasted 2 years.
Yeah.
COVID happened.
COVID happened. Yeah, but anyway.
I'm trying to make it Wayne. That's what I'm trying to do.
And as you're walking past, like the tabaxi holding out, it's like, it is sweet and juicy. You will like it.
No. I have enough trouble like trying to walk with two legs. I don't want four. So you know, like I heard it takes.
I promise you, it does not force you to grow any more appendages. It is a juice. It's sweet juice, and you see the tabaxi break off one of the large fruit and crack it open, and it's like this, and like it's greenish on the outside and it looks shiny, but as they crack it open, it's got this beautiful sharp crimson color bursts out, and this sweet scent kind of hits your nostrils, and it smells delicious, absolutely delicious.
I'm just gonna like, yeah, I politely, like, I do kind of, I'm like, oh, that's nice, but like, Tomo's just in the back of my mind going like, you know, like, you turn into something, you will, you're down. And so, no, thanks, no, I'm fine. Like, appreciate it though. Hang on, is it? Would you like a Feywild carrot cigarette, like, you know?
And the tabaxi kind of stops, like, Hey, Fahey Wild. Interesting. We trade. And he offers out the fruit, half of the fruit, and kind of palms the carrot cigarette you offer. And the kind of, how big is it? Like, is it?
Oh no, well, it's big for. It's like it looks like a cigar, except it's made. It's been chiseled, or well, if you could think chiseled, down into a cigar, like to look like a Cuban cigar. It
Okay.
even has like you can like they're Fey wild carrots. You can set it on a light, and you can take a couple of like drags out of it, but then you eat it. Like that's the way it is.
Okay. And the tabaxi, he holds it up slightly, and it's like while it's big in Lopan's hand, it looks like a candied cigarette that kids would eat in the tobacco. Because the tabaxi is quite large, like broad shouldered, with long fur-like hands and kind of fingers that come out to toe beans, but they're like spindly fingers with large toe beans on the end, clawed, and it's holding the carrot cigarette in its hand, and you just see it palm it, and it's gone. And it just offers the fruit to you and just places it in your palm, and half of it, like it's like sliced in half or cut in half, and it just gives it to you, and it's like,
I'll smell it and I'll look around the crowd to see if there's that usual kind of like person that's seen it too many times before and goes.
Oh,
there's
context clues.
nobody is paying you any attention, and even the tabaxi is kind of now picked back up their large bunch of fruit and is starting to consume the other half of the fruit that they broke off themselves.
Yeah, and I kind of reluctantly take a little bit and I offer it to the rest of the group.
It tastes absolutely gorgeous. It's like it's got this kind of not so much a citrusy flavor, but not too much. There's a bit of a tang to it, but it's like a tangy strawberry. But then as it goes down, it starts to warm up your throat, and you feel like it's like you've just taken a shot of whiskey and it spreads out across your chest. And then it's just this really nice kind of heartwarming flavor that just seems to spread all over, and you feel this like sweetness just melt into your mouth as the pulp.
Not
sinks
actually
inside.
naturally alcoholic.
That's what I'm thinking though.
He's just taking a small bit. Who knows what's going to happen if he eats the whole thing?
No, I'm offering it to the group, but I turn to the back and go, like, does this have a name or like?
Hey, we call it flesh fruit because it looks like red flesh, but it is sweet and tender, and it is very nourishing. You can survive on 3 of these a week, and you are full. It is delicious, and it is a fine trade for your. And he kind of flicks his hand, and the carrot cigar is back there. He's like, a fine trade for your
No,
cigar.
like, I knew a druid that like used to do things that were really small. He called them deadly berries. They were deadly actually, like, you know, very nice, keep you full. So yeah, I offered to just put it out like as I'm talking and to.
Do either of you take a piece?
I'll try some.
I'm mostly carnivorous.
Mostly.
Mostly.
Yeah, so Zara, you take some of it, and it's delicious. It's absolutely, you take, like, depending on how big the chunk is, you take it, and it's like, it's got that warm sensation. It seems to fill you, and it's just a small bite of it, like it's enough to feed a whole man. No, it's very filling, and it's warm, and it's really, really like that sweet taste. And depending on what your general diet would be, you either really like sweet things or you don't, but this has got that sweetness to it that eventually just has that warm sensation that goes down, and it's really, really nice.
Might not have to eat for a few days now.
I'll put the rest of it away. I'm sure I have a few napkins in my bag.
Sure, you can wrap it up. Yeah, that's no problem.
Wrap it up and you know.
It's like
Save it.
put half a flesh fruit into your inventory. Because as you look at the pulp, it does have that kind of like sinewy muscle look to it, like, you know, of raw meat. But it's like, I mean, Gray, you would probably look at it and go, it looks nice because it looks like raw meat.
Yeah, I mean, even your foodstuffs are body horror, Wayne. I love it.
As long as it's not raw chicken, then we're okay.
Look, I have a wheelhouse. I generally stick to it.
You
know what I mean?
you were really good as a location scout for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That's all I'm saying.
I haven't seen it yet, so I'll look out for that.
Well, you'll
one.
see what I'm talking about. You'll know and
Yeah.
you'll laugh in the cinema when you were definitely in charge of that one. Very good. So I'm walking around. I've been inspired once the heady atmosphere got me, and I swing my loot around and I'm picking away, and here's an Easter egg for folks of a certain age, and I just start singing, picking away, and I go, all I want in life's a little bit of love to take the pain away, getting strong today, giant step each day. Do you recognize that one, guys? Yeah, there we go.
Nice.
Yeah. So, I'm just kind of looking around. If I see, I'm kind of good for spell components and stuff, but if I see anything that catches my eye, I will go to it, be it a weapon.
Yeah, you're looking for weapons, is it?
I'm kind of always. I'm happy enough, but if I saw something really special.
Give me an investigation check, please.
Okay.
Let's see what you see. Zale, are you doing anything while Grey is doing that?
Yeah, I'm on the lookout for maybe some magical items, any hippie crystal stalls.
Okay,
around.
same again. Give me an old investigation there. Grey, what you get?
14.
14. You do, like, you're kind of walking for about 5 minutes through this market, and you're kind of perusing some of the stalls, and it's your general bric-a-brac. A couple of stalls that are claiming to sell trinkets of a magical nature, but even with your kind of bardic eye, you kind of glance over them. There's no auras off them. You're walking for about 5 minutes, and you stop at this stall of this large kind of thin, wiry, androgynous looking tiefling with their kind of hair slicked back, very kind of, it's kind of like the orangey type skin with large teal eyes, and their horns are kind of curved around and follows their hair with slick. They're also teal, and they've got tattoos along the side of their shaved head that goes down around their neck, and they're wearing a kind of a very much a Errol Flynn-esque pirate shirt.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And it's tied at the elbows, and they've got, like, kind of tight leather pants on, and they're kind of just leaning against the
All right, Captain Tight Pants.
Yeah. They're kind of just leaning against the stall, and keeping an eye on anyone that comes near it. But they have a large selection of knives, and even adorned on their belts, they've got 2 blades at one on either side, as they're just leaning up against the kind of the strut of the post that holds up their tent, and they're kind of just nonchalantly leaning against a mug of something steaming in their hand as they're looking over, and they see you approach, and you're perusing, and you see an array of different blades, and they are a kind of a hodgepodge of different styles. Some are just straight up short blades, some are just straight up daggers, plain hilts, some of them with serrated edges, some of them with keen curved edges, and there are a few that are kind of at the back behind, so these are all laid out on a table in front of you. Behind that, then, in the depth of the stall, you see kind of laid up on kind of, like those stands that comic book people use to hold up their books at conventions. You see kind of plaques with blades inlaid on the plaques on these little stands at the back, and even these have little plaques underneath them, so the blades seem to have names, and some of them have bejeweled hilts, some of them have inscribed blades that seem to have arcane writing engraved into the blade of different colors, shapes, sizes, language. What languages do you speak?
Common and Sylvan.
Sylvan. Give me a history check. Give me a history check, please.
Okay, let's do it. It's a 14.
Okay.
That's 3 14s in a row I rolled.
That's
creepy.
It's a bit weird.
Your laptop's haunted.
So, Sylvan it's kind of a wacky language for you to know. Did you just pick that at random?
No,
Okay.
I promise there was a thought process. There always is. But unfortunately, that thought process was had by me. So, who knows? Who knows?
There aren't any daggers here or any blades or any short swords or anything like that have Sylvan on them, but there are some that seem to share characters that are familiar to Sylvan. And as you look through this, you see that there are some of the blades that look very much older, and the kind of kind of the dialect and of the arcane symbols as your magical studies have informed you, rather than the actual language part of it.
Yeah.
They're quite old, and the tiefling spots you, kind of looking at the back area, kind of looking at, like, you know, and their kind of head kind of tilts up, and they take a sip of their brew, and they're like, "Is there anything I can interest you in?"
Yeah, you got some pretty pieces back there. I would like something pretty that I could wield comfortably. I might even trade in the dagger I have if it would help. I don't want to carry too many things.
And
can you show me some of those?
well, I mean,
is it okay if I try them in my hand?
I'm happy to show you, but it's all down to what you would require, and if you're looking for something of an arcane nature, something you just want to cause damage with, something you want to maim or wound or just straight up kill. It's kind of, I've got one for every kind of avenue of attack, one would say. So if you're willing to trade and you want to show me something, and they put their kind of cup down on the table and kind of very methodically put it in its place and make sure it's steady, and then glide over to where the blades are on the table first. It's like, these are my very basic models, different designs, different needs and requirements. So obviously you look like somebody who wants to get in quick, do a bit of damage and get out. You're not really there to have an extended kind of conversation with your blade. You just want to get in.
No, you're right. Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend any kind of, they gesture off to one side of the kind of the large dwarven-esque blades that seem to be like haggard and serrated and heavy-handed. And they kind of lead you towards the more shorter blades, the dagger-esque ones that are just like quick stabs, and that's it. And what do you have to trade?
I take out my dagger. It's nice. It's perfunctory. It's lasted me, and I've kept it well. And I've had it sharpened and peened from time to time. So yeah, it's a good one. It's not fancy, but it's good. I'm looking for an upgrade.
I mean, it's and is it just as for a purely stats point of view, it's just a basic dagger.
Yeah, let's have a look at it. Yeah,
there's nothing special about it. Like, so
I didn't tool them up. No, it's regular dagger. Damage of 1d4 plus 4.
Yeah, I mean, I stocked these types of things. This has got a nice heft to it. It's got a nice, and he balances it. You see, they kind of put it on their fingers, and they did a whole Thanos thing where it's like,
oh yeah,
perfectly balanced. But it's like they kind of heft it on their finger, and then they just flip it in the air, and they catch it by the blade, and they hold it, and then they just, without even looking, they're looking right at you. They just throw it to the side, and you see it spin through the air, and then this happens to be a target at the end of the desk, the end of the table, and it just it sticks into the target, dead center. They weren't even looking what they were doing. It's just dead center into the thing, and it's like, oh, it's very functional. And they just reach over with their left hand and pull it out. It's like, I could probably knock off a price, maybe 2-3 silver. Not much though. It's very entry level, as they say. And they kind of place it down in front of you. Now, if you're in the market for a more impressive blade, and they kind of step to one side with a flourish, and they're kind of, the attire now seems to be very obvious. They seem to, when they step to one side of the flourish, the sleeves of the shirt billow, and they kind of slide.
Yeah.
It's kind of like all part of the sales pitch, and all part of the act. And you see that they unveil the daggers that you'd already seen them, but they're now giving it a bit more gusto. It's like, I have ones here that can inflict poison, some arcane damage, frost damage, damage over time. It's really what you want to do in the general situation. And as we go along, obviously, it starts here with the base price of 2 gold, all the way up to 200. So it really depends on what you're in the market for, my dear.
Cross
I
damage,
think
you
what-
say?
Yeah, what is the non-binary term for fuckboy? I'm gonna have to find that out.
Fuck person, I guess. You know.
Fuck person,
Yeah.
there we go. Fuck person, he's such a fuck person. Right, so if you... Right, I am intrigued by the idea of frost damage. Grey pretty much doesn't stab anyone for bants. If Grey is stabbing you, you gots to go. So I don't mind getting some. I'm never gonna like lightly stab someone to get information out of them. It's not really my MO. So if I'm gonna be stabbing you, it's gonna be to kill you. So I like the idea of the frost damage actually.
Right.
What would that set Grey back?
They go halfway up. You kind of like I think you asked them about this. They kind of step up halfway through the selection of daggers that they have, and you see one that's on kind of a hardwood, kind of raised area, and it's like a little stand that it's sitting on. The blade is about, you're talking about maybe 6 inches, and it's jagged, and it's at a weird and you move your head around it. It kind of resembles, it looks like ice from certain angles, but then from other angles it just looks like metal. But you see there are arcane symbols engraved along the blade, and they shimmer slightly in blue, and your arcane senses can feel the energy kind of, as you focus on it, you can feel that there is arcane energy on this. The hilt is beautiful kind of ivory that seems to be carved in the shape of shards of ice, and it goes up and around, and it seems to twist around itself, coming to a point that has a blue jewel that's been sharpened into a claw talon-esque thing at the base. The hilt of it, that's the grip to the hilt, and the guard, the kind of blade guard, is also kind of twisted, and it just looks like it's made out of ice at certain angles, but then you look and it's metal. And
He has dagger envy right now.
they reach over.
It's all about the cold shit.
They pick it up and they twist it around in their hand, and they hold it out in front of you. And as they do it, there's a cloud of ice crystals seems to just emanate off it, so like dry ice type of a situation as it moves slightly. And they present it forward. It's like, this is a dagger of my own making. It is a very specific and interesting quality that it's a dagger and you can stab somebody. But if you extend your spell ability into it on an attack, it replicates the spell Ice Dagger.
Oh, nice.
Ooh, permission
I have that
to
spell.
Yep.
stop the whole game to make the worst joke anyone's ever heard.
Do it.
This is what Zill's internal monologue is at the moment. The kitten bought a dagger when I was just Elvin. Sorry. Why am I like this?
Don't ever change.
So they offer you the dagger,
Right.
and it's basically, so what this dagger does, this is very much a homebrew item, folks, so I'll put the stats together for you. So what this is, it is a dagger, and you can stab somebody regularly with it, but you expend the spell slot, and you can use the spell Ice Dagger, which then allows you to, it's an evocation spell, and it allows you to use the spell for Ice Dagger at the same time. It's all one action, so you can't stab somebody and then activate it. It's basically, you can either stab somebody with it, and they do, when you stab them, they do take an extra d4 cold damage though. But when you use the Ice Dagger, it gives you it's a ranged spell attack as well. So I mean,
Oh, right.
yeah,
Because it
yeah,
emanates out. Oh.
Yep.
So the spell is Ice Dagger. If you go stab someone with it, you're also taken to be casting that spell.
yeah.
Okay. In one action.
So you can stab them and cause ice damage with it, or you can activate it and use the spell Ice Dagger.
Okay.
So a melted ice cupped in your palm crystallizes into a dagger-like shard of ice that then flies at your foe, exploding into a ball of icy fragments at its feet. The Ice Dagger created by the spell launches itself at the target. Treat the target as a spawn spell, and then it requires a ranged attack. The Ice Dagger deals 1d4 cold damage to the target, per caster level a maximum of 5d4. So you're level 6.
Yeah.
So
it's 3
yeah.
is my spell level.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on the splash damage of 1 point of cold damage to its adjacent creatures. So you can use it as a close range weapon or a long range attack, spell attack. It's very much an OP dagger. And because
very good.
It is one of my pride and joy, and that is in the higher price range of 150 gold.
Ooh. Oh. Huh.
Now, I will say this, Gray, looking at your gold stash, you can afford it.
I know I can afford it, I know. But yeah, how do you end up on this pile of money in the first place? Yeah, I suppose I'm just not used to getting things for myself, really. I don't do that, but it is very pretty.
In the words,
treat yourself.
In the words of Reddit, treat yourself.
Treat yourself. All right. Okay.
Or do whatever you want to do. I'm not gonna railroad you to buy it. Like,
okay, I'm gonna say. Sure. I mean, I love it. It's beautifully made. Can we do anything about the price? Do you like songs?
I do like a good somber melody, I suppose. And they kind of looked listfully off in the distance as they say this.
Oh, nice.
I mean, if you're willing to trade something besides your individual dagger, anything that you may have that you're willing to part with, any trinkets, any heirlooms, any extra bits and bobs that maybe I could use as arcane symbols and break down components for future craftings, it's more than welcome. I always accept items as trade as well as cost of coin.
Sure. I have a pearl.
Oh, you say?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I have used it. I've used it occasionally, but I think I would use it less often than I would use this dagger.
Now, also remember,
what does that do?
Just to make you aware, well, the general. So, have you used this for spellcasting? Have you done this? Have you used it for anything?
Not in this game.
Okay, so the general cost of a pearl would be 100 gold pieces.
Yeah.
So, also just to refresh your memories, and you don't have to do anything with these at any particular point. You also have a lot of trinkets and gear that you got from that witch in the woods when you were in Ravenloft. So there is stuff.
That's right. Yeah.
So maybe have a think about it. Whatever you want to do. Again, whatever you want to do. I'm not raid rolling you. Is it doing whatever you want to do with that items, but also just to make you aware that you have them.
Who added that? Yeah,
Sorry.
I don't. Wayne called them all out, but I don't know who put them with their stuff. I don't remember anyone adding them.
I think Zill took some of them. I don't know whoever had the bag. But you might want to check your inventories there. But there was like a locket. There was a lot of gold, a lot of silver, which I think he's divvied out amongst yourselves anyway.
Yeah. I think the money got added. Yeah.
I think there were blades as well.
I have the daggers.
Yeah. So I think there's also a locket that he's had that had a crystal in it. So
I think
anyway.
Zill probably used that. Yeah.
So
okay.
you hand it out. So he takes the pearl. They take the pearl and they hold it up and they're like, I think yes, we could definitely work something out. And he kind of holds it. They hold it up. Sorry, I keep getting the pronouns wrong. They hold it up.
You said his. I decided they were a they.
No, initially they are.
You were saying they all along.
Yeah, they are they them.
Oh, very good.
They are they them. So I have to keep all these characters in my brain. That's all I'm doing. So schizophrenia.
And your other games, all your NPCs and everything.
Yeah. So they hold up the pearl and it's like, has it seen any use? Any kind of casting through it at any time? And, I don't see any blemishes. I don't see any imperfections. So
no,
I can maybe give you. I can take maybe 70 gold off the price.
Okay, that works for me.
And the dagger at 2 silver.
Okay.
So let's say an even Oh, I tell you what, I like you. You seem to have a fine eye. Oh, the dagger. I'll round it up. Let's say 80 gold off. So pay me the remainder. So another 70.
Okay. That is a deal, my friend.
Okay. They reach over, pick up the blade, and reach behind where the plaque was, where it sat on, and they grab this beautiful sheath for the blade that looks like it's kind of again an extension of it. It looks like it's you know when something gets wind blasted by like a frozen storm, and there's that blast of ice. The sheet of the blade looks like it has been hit by a blast of ice storm from one side, and there's small icicles moving off it in one direction. So it's like the flash moving, and it's like that blur, but it looks like it's got that kind of blast of ice as these icicles break off it down to the tip and lead off to the side. And it's got a belt that would go around your waist or your shoulder or whatever, because it can be adjusted to go as a holster or as a waist sheath. And they sheathe the blade, wrap it in kind of like sackcloth, and hand it over, and take the pearl, the dagger you offer, and the 70 gold, and give you a nod.
Very good.
So you now have that blade in your inventory as your weapon.
Wayne,
yes.
Just watching the exchange and whatnot, do they have any other weaponry, or is it just daggers? Or are they just daggers? Short
swords, daggers, kind of a few throwing blades. Nothing mechanical. No kind of long blades, no halberds, nothing like that. It's all kind of like short sword and daggers and throwing stars and throwing blades and stuff and darts.
I'm more looking for like crossbow, but
no, they do like you can inquire about crossbow bolts maybe, but they don't have anything like that. They don't have any weaponry of that type at this stall.
Well, I kind of I just once the exchange has been made, I want to use Thief's Cant, if I may, because I rarely use it, and I just want to see if he can understand. If they can understand me first, and I want to ask them, would they know where I could find maybe a good like crossbow, and also some kits, i.e. the poisoner's kit and the disguise kit. And this is all through Thieves' Cant. Once, I'm not going to say it all if he's not getting me, but you know.
Sure. No, you start to speak in Thieves' Cant, and it's like they just turn their head slightly, look down at you as you stand next to them, and they just give you a nod. And they take out a piece of parchment, and they scribble down a few things on the piece of parchment, fold it up, hand it over to you, and tell you, "Good luck in Thieves' Cant." Back to you.
Mm-hmm.
And just hand you a piece of parchment.
I thank them.
Ooh, mysterious.
Is there anything else the group want to do at this point?
Well, I was on the lookout for crystals, but I had a shit roll.
That's okay. You kind of, as that is happening, and Lopan and Gray are over there. While that whole kind of exchange is happening, it takes a couple of minutes, and you're trying to find somewhere, and you do find the odd kind of stall with this gnarled old kind of, well, what essentially looks like a withered old woman behind it trying to sell necklaces and trinkets. But as you get closer, it's more like Terry Jones from The Life of Brian as the mother, as you realize it's actually a man dressed as a woman trying to pass off. It's like, he's not the Messiah, he's a very naughty boy type of a situation. And there's a few dodgy situations. You're going to go, hang on a second. And they very much look like they're ready to wrap up their shit and leg it at the quickest moment. It takes you a good 20 minutes or so. And the other two have finished up their things and they're now looking for you. And you've wandered off to kind of the far end of the marketplace. And you do come across a small stall with a fawn sitting on a stool as her legs are crossed, and she's reading from a book, and she has, like, it's that kind of fawn-esque features, bushy kind of brown tangled hair that's not combed in any way, all kind of bushed out of the top of her hair, long ears, curled horns that kind of droop down, nearly touching her shoulders. A kind of a green kind of frock, long dress that is tied at the waist with a belt, what looks like it's essentially made out of flowers and fauna. And her hooves are kind of crossed over as she's reading through this book. Nobody seems to be paying her any attention. There's nobody stopping in her stall. She's not really giving a shit that nobody's stopping in her stall. And you kind of hover. And just as you're hovering, she just side-eyes you a bit, looks you up and down, and then goes back to reading the book. And then picks up, you look down, she's drinking from a small wooden teacup, and she just keeps reading.
As Zill's in love.
Can I tell if any, like, can I tell whether what she has in her stall is junk, or is there actually anything of worth? Like,
Give me an Arcana check, please.
an Arcana check, you said. Okay, I'm gonna try the digital dice because the physical has been doing me dirty.
Digital dice, so
10.
dice. Digital dice, so deep.
Wow.
There's that from
Wow. So you're kind of perusing over the wares that are on this table, and also again there's like a stall at the back of it as well, kind of a large. I think those vendors at comic conventions that don't, not so much the cage vendors that live in their cage, but these are like they have a thing that goes back and up, and everything is kind of, while there's a small selection here at the front, there's a large selection at the back, and the ones that are at the front are knickknacks, trinkets, kind of like touristy type things with little swirls drawn into them, crystals in the shapes of eyes, very much a very touristy situation. And you're looking at them, there's nothing really that catches your eye. And as you glance back then at the back of the stalls, you start to sense that arcane energy is kind of emanating from there. Here at the front, not much. At the back, definitely something. But with that roll, you can't really make out what. But there's definitely some stuff right, kind of higher shelf, top tier stuff is all back there. Nothing in front of you that's worth your time.
The shiny Charizard at the back.
Yeah.
So, have you perchance got anything that will focus cold or necrotic magic?
She kind of has put the teacup down and looks up and then gently closes the book she's reading and places it in a pouch on her hip and kind of swings her legs around towards you. Cold and necrotic, you say? Well, dear, I believe you've come to the right place. And she hops off the stool and kind of totters back around behind, like, yes. Gem is my name and Gemma my game. So let me tell you what I have. Nothing here is worth your time. Nothing. Garbage. Junk. Do not even give it a second thought. Back here is where all the good stuff is, my dear. All the good stuff. Frost, I have you covered. And she kind of reaches back and pulls out a roughly hewn, long crystal, blue and kind of silver in hue. And as she holds it up, it seems to like shift. Remember that mead you bought from the stall Tina worked at Comic-Con?
Yes.
It swirled and shit. It was all golden.
Yeah.
It's like that inside this crystal. So you're holding it up and it's like, as she moves it, the inside of it swirls and twists and turns inside of itself. The crystal is solid and it's a rough rock. It hasn't been shaped in any way. It hasn't got any, sharp, defined edges. It's very much like this has just been mined out of a wall somewhere, and here it is. It's unrefined. The energy is inside, crackling. You have to release it, my dear. And by the looks of you, you very well could be able to do that. With my help, of course. For a fee. And then she pauses and then places it down on the table, at the back of the table, behind all the junk. And then, without still looking at you, reaches behind her and pulls out another crystal. Smaller. Again, roughly hewn. This one more of a swirling, purpley black with a very bright-ish center to it that again is swirling on the inside. more round. The other one was a longer crystal. This one is more kind of like it's like a sparkling lump of coal with a liquid center that she holds up. This one I pulled out of the dead, cold hands of a necromancer. He used it to channel a spell that backfired because he was so petty, weak, and small-minded. And he's dead now, so it's mine, and I wish to sell it to you. So, necrotic frost. What can I interest you in?
Might I handle them both to see how they react to me?
Give me a persuasion check, please.
$13.
13. I suppose if you need to inspect the goods, it's only fair. She kind of holds out the frost one first and hands it over.
Okay, I'm just gonna take it and kind of handle it and sit it in my palm and kind of try and look into it and see if it's giving me any kind of
Okay.
read.
It's straight away, as soon as you handle it, you can feel the arcane energy on it, and it's cold to the touch. It's very much this is frost magic. It's like a focus of some sort that you would channel a frost spell through, or use it as a component to either fuse it to a weapon or a piece of armor for frost resistance or frost damage, so on and so forth. It's so definitely a focus of frost arcane energy. You can give me an Arcana check if you want to see how powerful it is.
Please, Wayne, you have to stop doing things that are also done in Tears of the Kingdom. I'm only barely here.
That's 23.
23. Oh,
Yeah.
straight up, this is a very powerful focus. And you're surprised, like you're wondering now, fuck, how much is she going to charge for this? Because this, if you like feeling the energy that's off this, if you were to find the right blacksmith to forge this to something, like if you put this would be like a +5 ice resistance on armor situation type thing.
Yeah, son.
You know what I mean? So like, it's a hefty, like it's big. It's about yay big, roughly hewn ice focus. Frost focus.
I'm going to completely keep my composure and not let her know, just in case she doesn't know how powerful it is.
Give me a deception check, please.
Oh no! Oh no, we're in D&D, not the real world. Boo!
Damn it.
Boo! 16.
Okay. Did you want to say anything to her about it?
I'm just gonna say, really is very beautiful and definitely my style. But I think I wouldn't mind having a look at the other one as well before I make my mind up.
Of course, my dear.
If that's okay.
Oh, no, by all means. You have to make up your mind, and a woman's mind is her own prerogative. So, as I completely understand, and she kind of takes the ice crystal out of your hand and hands over the dark black lumpish coal piece.
Okay, I'm going to do the same and roll a Arcana check on that as well to get a read off it.
Yeah.
Unless it does anything funky before I do.
No, you take it in your hand and you do feel like there's another kind of cold feeling to it, but a different kind of cold. Like it's like you feel a tightness in your chest, as if it's pressure, and it's kind of closing.
It's a dead cold.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah,
so.
whereas
Very
the
much
other
so.
one is sorry, I was going to be all like, oh, it's a living cold and it moves and stuff like that. Okay, I rolled a 13.
13. It's definitely power here. You can't sense whether it's more powerful or just as powerful as the other one, but it is a smaller stone. But there is a significant amount of power here, but you can't really gauge exactly how much. I mean, the other roll was ridiculously high, so you were well on with that one. But with this, you're kind of going, there is power here. I could use this. I just don't know how much power I would get out of this, considering its size and the energy that I'm getting off it. What what pieces of kit do you have? What gear do you have on your person?
So I have elven chain under my tunic. I have poisonous daggers, I have a crossbow, and bolts. And then in terms of other stuff, I have my crystal that my mother gave me that I'm attuned to. I've made a note of that locket that we had, but I don't know who's carrying it. And yeah, so in terms of my
Okay. Give me a wisdom saving throw, please.
7.
7. Okay. You kind of feel that maybe this isn't something you need. In the back of your mind, you're kind of, it's like this, it's like your inner voice is saying, you know what? You don't really need this one. Maybe leave this one behind.
Yeah.
And trade for the other one.
Yeah.
You just feel this, it's just all of a sudden in your head, you know what? This really isn't that powerful. And the other one was
it looks cool, but it's,
yeah, it's got that aesthetic that I like. But Frost is awesome.
Okay. I think I've made my decision. I think the frost crystal is calling to me more than the necrotic one. Dare I ask your price?
Well, my dear, you see, I'm not really interested in gold or silver, and definitely not copper, but I am interested in what you can give me. You see, I barter. I live off the world around me. And I like your... Oh, look, it's very nice. Very nice indeed. I wouldn't be able to pull it off myself. I'm more of an earthy flavour, very into the greens and the browns, but I feel that you are an interesting individual with a lot of stories to tell. So, while I will take a small amount of maybe gold from you, I would be more interested in bartering for items you may have on your person to see if we can come to some arrangement.
I would be agreeable to bartering.
Excellent.
I do have... So, sorry. I actually have 2 sets of daggers. So I have the poisonous ones that I picked up, but I still have my old ones in the bag.
Okay.
So I'm willing to trade my old daggers.
Okay.
But I don't know how much they're worth. And yeah.
Daggers, yes. I'm not really in the market for weaponry. There's a vendor over there. They are into all that type of thing. It's there. I'm more into the arcane, the nature side of things, spiritual spells, components and stuff. A component for component, or maybe do you have any? And she points at the crystal around your neck that your mother gave you, and she's like,
"Oh yeah,
something along those lines. It's delicious, darling. It's a beautiful piece."
Well, this particular one is not for sale.
Oh.
Can I have a route around? Can I have a route around for the locket?
Yeah, I mean, like, the locket is in your bag. I think if you have it on you, it's in your person. And do you have any other trinkets, like any other components or anything else that you might have on you?
Sorry, this is why here's my shit notes coming into play.
It's all good. It's all good. I mean, look, the locket is there. If you have any kind of opals, diamonds, very much like the pearl that the Grey had, anything along those lines. But you have the locket for sure.
I have the locket. We have the locket for sure. I don't think. No, I've only got cold heart.
Okay. Do you take the locket out and show it to her?
Yeah, I'm gonna take that out and.
Okay. Can you roll me a wisdom saving throw, please?
Um, 16.
16. You take the locket out, and as it kind of transfers from your bag outwards, you kind of have a feeling very similar to the necrotic stone you just had in your hand. And then you kind of feel in your mind, you're kind of going, this is a really good deal. I'm going to get this crystal for this measly locket. This is a fantastic deal. I'm happy to hand this over.
Yeah, if she buys it.
And her eyes kind of roll me a perception check, please. Actually, okay, it's garbage. Roll me a perception check. See what you get on this one.
18.
18. You see it kind of for a brief second. There is a kind of a look of on James' face, but then she tries to hide it as she sees the locket being produced, and she kind of like her hand. Oh, may I? And she kind of reaches out to kind of gently take it off your person. And she kind of drapes it over her hand and looks at it. Her kind of eyes sparkling a bit. This is a beautiful piece. Might I ask how you came by this?
It was a gift.
Gift, you say? A gift? 'Tis a mighty gift. Ah, indeed.
It has less personal attachment than the gem you noticed around my neck.
Ah, yes, I see. Personal attachment, indeed. And would you be willing to part with this for? I mean, it would barely cover the cost of the crystal, but I'd be willing to make you a deal.
Yeah, I'd be willing to trade it.
Excellent. You know what? I am feeling generous today. I've had quite a quiet morning, and I feel that this may be what I needed to finish my day off and clock off early. So let's call it a straight swap, shall we?
Yeah. Great.
Excellent. And she kind of gets the crystal. She takes it. She just kind of carefully wraps the locket up and places it in a small drawstring bag and then places it down inside her dress, and then reaches over and picks up the crystal, gives it a polish, wraps it in kind of like wool cloth, and then puts it in another drawstring bag, drawstrings it, and hands it to you. It's quite large. Hands it to you. And she's like, "It has been an absolute pleasure, my dear. Thank you so much for your patronage. Do stop by again if you have anything along the lines that you wish to barter, trade. I am here every second Tuesday."
Thank you. I was going to turn.
Roll me history check for a second. As she says this.
10.
Today's Wednesday. So not every second Tuesday. Today's Wednesday, and she's here. So she then bids you adieu, and then starts to slowly but surely pack up all of her shit. And starts to close down her stall for the day. You other two, have you two kind of started to wander, try to look for Zilzara?
I'll look at the note he gave me when I get a chance.
Yeah. You unfold the note, and it's directions to the place. Well, it seems to be 4 streets over to a place of dwelling that he's given you directions from, and it just says, "Tell them the tiefling sent you," and then it's just underlined, and then that's it.
Do I get the impression, Wayne, that this is a place where I should go alone, or I can bring people? Did I get in
from a note that just says directions?
Well, just the usual customs that come along with people that learn a language that, for a particular set of skill sets that other people have. If you get me.
It doesn't imply whether you should or shouldn't.
Grand. Okay, cool. That's good. I'm going to go what I can.
So are the two of you meeting up with Zilzara, or Zilzara, are you looking for the other two at this point?
I'm going to turn and leave Jem to her packing.
Mm-hmm.
And try and see if I can see the other two. I suppose I've wandered kind of the length around the market quite far because it took me a while.
Yeah, it takes you about 2 or 3 minutes. You notice then, you see Gray kind of coming down through the crowd, because even with this hodgepodge of people and different races and sizes and shapes, you can see Gray at a distance as their kind of split colouring stands out even in this crowd. And you look up and they're coming towards you about 10 feet away, moving in the general direction of what you think will be the direction you're meant to go to the Red Shield's branch office.
Is this on the way, Wayne? The place that I want to go to, or is
No, the place you want to go to is kind of it comes to the end of the market. The Red branch office direction you were given is straight ahead. You need to take a right and then go 4 streets over and then to the left. And there's on the map that he very quickly drew you. That's the rough direction you seem to be.
All right, I think cool. I'll wait till after we go talk to the Red Shield. Might be the best thing. So cool.
Yeah. Okay. So what are the group doing at this point?
I am going to make a beeline for Gray. So, are you satisfied with our shopping excursion?
Yeah, I can't wait to show you what I got. I'm not going to take it out here in case it gets stolen.
Yeah, that's a wise move. Where's the bunny?
Oh no, like I'm here. I'm just just reading. It takes a bit, like, you know. But like, well, I didn't buy anything, so I don't know if it should be part of this conversation or not. But like, I do want to get a few bits later after we go see the Red Shields. Like on the way back, I need to, and I kind of like my light crossbows. Like, thinking of getting an upgrade. It's barely hanging on, like, you know. So, but what you get?
Oh, I got tooled up, man. I can't wait to show you.
Yeah, I need to change mine into something that will help, but it's a good start.
No, that's deadly. But like, like there's nothing around here that catches me eye. But like, I got some directions to a place that might be able to help me. But like, there's no rush. Like, we can go talk to the Red Shields, and on the way back, like, we can, if you don't mind, we can go on in. Like,
yeah, we can.
Yeah,
we can do that. So, which way to these Red Shield guys?
As if you're following the directions that Grezz gave you, it's about another kind of like 2-minute walk up and then to the right. At the end of the market, then it's kind of meant to lead out into where the office is. Sorry, I'm actually making notes.
No.
I found Lopan's book. I lost it, and then I lost the book I was using. But the last time I written this was when I found the telescope. So
there you go.
I'm going to transfer everything. I will find the other thing into it, but like, notes are good, especially if you read them.
You kind of come towards the far end of the market where there's just a lot of food stalls, selling kind of street food of different scents, flavors. It's just a mixture of everything, all blending together. It smells delicious. All these wondrous different flavors and scents from everywhere, all mixing in different types of food. You've got the meat eaters, you've got the herbivores, the vegisauruses, all that type of stuff. Everything is just all mixing in, and it's just like, if he's are hungry, it's kind of like a blah, blah, blah. But the two of you that had some of the fruit, you're not feeling too hungry. And I'm trying to remember what time of day this is. I think you came in roughly in the morning time into the docks. So I could be wrong on that. I can't exactly remember, but we're going to say this is late to mid-afternoon. And there is no sun, but there is kind of what seems to be arcane created natural light in this giant sphere of a city. And it's still kind of mid to late afternoon, and people are milling about. But as you come closer to the edge of it, then people are just kind of clumped together, sitting on the streets, sitting on benches, eating foods, conversing. And it's that kind of crowd as you lead into the right-hand turn that goes towards where the Red Shield's office is, or branch office is, you approach as you spot off in the distance a large guardhouse. And it's a 3-story building made of a hodgepodge of different materials. You have the ground floor is wood and brick, but then what's built on top of that seems to be made of some sort of mossy clay that has kind of moss insulation on the outside that leads up into a taller tower that is very much higgledy-piggledy twisted around with a large slate pointed roof with a weather vane that's kind of half crooked on the top. Numerous windows dotted around the place in places that don't make any fucking sense. It's very much an Ankh-Morpork-esque building.
I get that reference.
And it's like, what?
Morpork.
As you approach the guardhouse, you spot a ragtag bunch of supposed guards of all shapes, sizes, race, gathered around a set of benches and tables off to the right side of the building. Some have taken off their helmets and laid them on at their feet or on tables. They are all eating what looks like to be varied forms of dried meat, spiced root vegetables, berries, all sorts of things. They seem to be just all eating food and conversing. One or two of them look up as you approach, and just as quickly as they look up, they go back to their conversations. So what do you want to do? You see, like, there's a large group of these. It's about, I say, about maybe 10 individuals at different groups of clumps and sizes. There is a group closest to you of about 3 individuals that are just outside the guardhouse.
From what I remember, we're here to talk to them about the power outages, wasn't it?
Yes, Grezz was under the impression that there was a local investigator from the Red Shields that was running their own investigation into the power shortages and the power drops, and that's what he'd last heard. But he wasn't aware of where they'd gotten to and what had been discovered, because this has only been happening for a short period of time. So the investigation, as far as he's concerned, has only just begun, because it's starting to impact. It's starting to spread out and impact more and more people around the area. So it started in a small, controlled space and started to spread out. The power outage started to spread.
I guess, like, in Lopan's brain, he's like, well, these places always have a front desk where there's someone you can talk to. So, guess I'll hop there. And just like he's thinking and he's realizing he's not saying it, he just starts hopping towards the door, and then, like, as he gets to the door, kind of looks back just to see if this is the right thing he should be doing.
What are you two doing?
I am with the group, ready. I want to press on. But Lopan's leading, right?
If I get the nod that it's good to go in, I'll go in. Lopan's very curious. He found the story very intriguing when he heard it. His mind went wild with the possibilities. So this is like, it's like, yeah, pretty much he's acting like a kid that, like, wants to go to the next roller coaster ride. You know, he's got that energy to control himself and wait for the others, but not like. But, like, it's that, but it's, as I said, not a roller coaster. It's a mystery that needs to be solved. But yeah, I'll go on in if I'm getting the nod that it's all right.
Dilzara, what are you doing?
You got back up.
I'm gonna follow, but lag in the back, like the bored emo child that she is.
Lopan, as you hop up to the front of the thing, the closest group of individuals to the front door of it is 3 individuals nearest to you, comprised of a gruff-looking human male of medium height who sports a salt and pepper hairstyle that's tied up into a topknot. His face is adorned with an impressively groomed beard that is waxed into multiple loops at the base. His red shield armor is scuffed and well worn, but seems to be well cared for and sturdy. He has his right foot up on a bench as you approach, and he's leaning on his right knee.
Is he Rikering?
He's Rikering. Full on Rikering.
I like it.
Full on Rikering.
I pictured, if anyone's ever looked up the current owner of Slane Castle, you should look him up right now, because that's exactly what he looks like.
Really?
Oh, really?
Impressive. Yeah. Okay. So he leans on his right knee and he's chewing on some sort of dried meat as he's listening to the individual in front of him. But he sees you approach and is kind of throwing you a side eye. And he kind of puts his hand up to his colleague a large, imposing female half-orc whose well-defined bare arms are covered in golden tattoos that go all the way down to her fingers, full on, like. And she's in the middle of telling a tale of great endeavor. She has a large, she has her hair tied back, shaved at the sides, but her hair's tied back in a large ponytail of purple curly hair that goes up and then cascades down over her shoulders, large muscular shoulders. She also has the same armor. It's scuffed, but like also again well cared for. And she's gesturing wildly, seems to be recounting some sort of tale of might that she performed recently in a fight against a large group of thieves. You can see as you get closer to her and to the group that sheeted on either hip, she carries two what would be regular large broadswords for a human, but they're essentially just blades for her. So, like, if a regular human was to lift, it'd be like, dunk. But, like, for her, it's just like...
So she's dual-wielding claymores.
Pretty much. She's massive. Like, she is...
Yeah.
Tank.
Fuck yeah, she is.
Blade mazzo.
She's a mazzo.
And, like, the human male is kind of gesturing to her to kind of hang on a second as he looks over towards you as you approach. Lopan, as you look up and you see him, you kind of see him at the corner of your eye making a move towards you. There is also, sitting on the table between the both of them, you see the third individual. It's a silver-haired female halfling who's seated on top of the table. She's tucking into a large fruit, very familiar fruit that you had previously taken a bite out of yourself. And she's just like... And she's also, again, wearing the same well-kept armor. The only difference is, to her compatriots, she has two bandoliers that go across her chest that are filled with throwing knives. Right. Most of the general population of the red shields are paying you no attention, bar this one individual human. As he steps forward, he's like, "I'm sorry, can I help you?"
And I know, like, I was willing to wait until, like, you finish the story. I didn't mean to interrupt, but, like, yeah, that'd be great if you could. But I don't mind waiting, like, you know.
Are you here to report a crime or something? It's we're currently on a break. The office is closed for the next 10 minutes, but we'll be back. But if it's urgent, we can do it.
No, like, I know the importance of, like, you know, like, having your break and relaxing. Like, no, but I know that now that we've showed up, like, you're probably wondering what, and it's going to bug you for the rest of the 10 minutes. So I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. But, like, no, we're pretty much like, here to kind of, like, help, so to speak. Like, we're just new to the city, like, and we heard that there's a bunch of power problems and intrigued by it as well. But we want to help. We're good at that. But, like, you know, like, we can come back in 10 minutes, like, but just thought I'd tell you so it's not bugging you, like. And
he kind of takes the dried jerky that he's eaten and puts it into a pouch on his belt. He's like, no, it's all right. It's all right. Slow down a bit, okay? Roxana, just give me a second, okay? And do you see the female half-orc is kind of just giving him a tilted look, looking way down at you because she's fucking huge. And he's like, step inside. And he kind of turns and produces a set of keys, like a ring of keys, and finds one and then locks the front door and swings it in. And it's like he steps into a kind of a darkened front area of this office and kind of gestures for you to follow him.
Yeah, follow him.
Okay, the three of you, I take it, follow him?
Yeah.
Okay. And he kind of goes in and starts lighting up wall lamps, because even though it's kind of mid-afternoon, it's very dark in here. And as the wall lamps and sconces go up, you see, and Zill and Gray, you feel this as well. There is an arcane element to these wall lamps, not too dissimilar to the lamps that were on the silver spear that adorned the corridors down into the engine room. And as he turns them, they kind of sputter slightly. It's like and come in, flicker into existence. He kind of stops a bit and kind of gives you all a look, and then looks at the lamp and then waits for it to sputter again, and it stops. And he keeps doing this for two more sconces on either side, 3 in total on either side of the room, and then they light up the room. And you see this large initial office has got 3 tall standing desks in it that have piles of scrolls and books on each of them of different shapes and sizes, and no chairs. There is a large, what looks like a chalkboard at the back of the room that have multiple numbers on one side of it, a line, and then what look like case numbers and files on it, and then what look like officer names written beside them. So it looks like casework files and what officers are working on what cases. And he kind of steps behind one of the desks and starts pulling through. So let me get this straight. You said you came here to help. What are you here on a ship? Are you part of a crew? Are you meant to be on this rotation?
No, like we were we were just talking to had a bit of business with an individual called Craig, is that his name? The character, I'm deliberately getting it wrong.
Grezz. Oh, Grezz is his name.
Grezz. Right. And then I go, Grezz. And like, we were just chatting, and we're here for a few days, and he mentioned the problems with the power in the city, and just intrigued. We were all intrigued. Like to help out if we could,
So you're telling me you sent here by Grezz?
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay. And the book he had open, he closed it again. Like there's a puff of dust up, and he's like, right. Well, I suppose we better start with introductions. My name is Genji. Sorry, my name is Genji. I am the watch commander here on this branch for this rotation. And Darren, did you mention about the power outage to him when you walked in?
I said that like we heard
that
the power was going
cool.
out. Yeah.
And Grezz wants you to help us with the investigation into the power outages.
Yeah,
right.
long and short of it, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We've only really started the investigation. I've just sent, as of this morning, a lieutenant down to the local arcade station to investigate the local connections. You see, are you aware of how this works, or how our general city is supplied with power?
No. I kind of not really good at that type of thing, but I'm a quick learner.
Not to get too complicated, but each disc on this globe has a station of power, and it's all fed from the central hub. Our station seems to be failing, and it's getting worse. As you can see, he gestures towards the lamps on the wall. It took a couple of tries to get back going, but and as he gestures over it, there's like and it spurts a bit. He's like, "Oh, I mean, that's the reason why we had them off and we had the doors closed or locked up. We're trying to conserve energy because we don't know what's causing it. The problem is, we also don't know what really creates the power. This place has been here a very long time. So long that really all of us here don't know how mainly it was created at its center. We arrived here. I've been here about a decade, serving on the crew I serve on my rotation as Red Branch, or as Red Shield for this branch. And really, it's really we have arcane studies, but it's not I hit things. Really, that's all I do, and investigate. I've got a keen mind, but arcane, not my bag. So, if you, Tree, are willing to be deputized in some way as part of this rotation for whatever. Sorry, what did you say the ship was again?
And I kind of quickly give a look to see if it's okay to say it.
No. Would it be?
Is it?
It's stolen.
Is it?
But we are on a pirate island. It's hard to know.
I'll go with my gut. Yeah.
Okay, go with your gut.
Hang on, no, I'm starting to remember stuff. You know what? I'll be honest with you. Like, I can't remember the top of it. Is it? Do you need it? Like, I can give you my name and
who's your captain?
Yeah, gives them the name of the captain.
Ming Na Wen.
Captain Ming. Yeah, Ming Na.
Really shit at rolling any form of deception or covering his emotions. Genji kind of like his eyebrows go up, and he's like the curls at the bottom of his beard kind of like as his head goes back, they kind of jostle a bit and quiver. He's like, really interesting. The captain.
What do you mean, like?
Captain Mingna. She has her own ship. All right. Well, that's a turn up for the books. Well, I mean, I could put you into this rotation as part of the Shields. You would get your stipend of 5 gold per week at the end of your shift, as long as you're still alive. I just need your names, and then we could deputize you to go and help with the investigation. And I'll be honest with you, the only reason I'm allowing this to go true is because I owe Grezz a couple of favors, and I really don't want to piss him off. So, if you're willing to, I'll need your signatures here, here, and here. And he kind of gestures up with a piece of paper and offers you his quill to kind of sign your names. And you can see there's like, in rough scrawl, there's like deputization of 3 individuals, 5 gold stipend, Captain Mingna, then there's like ship, but there's blank question mark.
Right. Yeah, I sign.
You know, I pour a little bit of the ink on the actual thing. I don't use the pen, and I kind of put a couple of like rabbit toe beans on it.
Okay, cool.
Can I ask a couple of questions before I sign this and you deputize me?
Yeah, of course, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's to be expected, I suppose.
Is there like a code of conduct that we have to abide by? Am I prevented from using deadly force?
We don't necessarily have a license to kill, but we don't have a license to not kill either. It's more so a gentle person's agreement of, if somebody's trying to kill you, you of course have every right to try and kill them back, generally. But you'd be surprised, actually, just the presence of the shields seem to instill a level of calm amongst the citizens and the denizens and the crews of the Flotsam. So it's the general nature of us being here en masse and the agreement with the captain's tables that we are the law as such, even though we don't really like using that word a lot. So don't go around telling people I am the law. That's not the way it's going to work, because we don't like the law. But you have a certain authority.
Individual discretion based on circumstances.
That's a good way of putting it, I suppose. Yes, very situational type of thing. But I've always lived by, if somebody tries to kill me, I've every right to try and kill them right back. That's generally the unwritten rule. But for most
I can get behind that.
For the most part, it's just, we're just keeping an eye on customs coming in, making sure there's not many people aren't skimming too much off the top. The captains are getting their fair share. The crew are getting their fair share. That's really it. Any bar bros that, wax out and we're not as drunk as the rest of them, and as long as we're still enough sober to be able to say, oh, you don't be doing that, they kind of, fall in line to a degree. People don't want to get thrown in to the brig for a weekend, so they'd rather just be out doing the thing. It's kind of a mutual agreement. How long have you had the gig? Oh, about 5 years. I've been coming to the Flotsam as a crew member for about 10. Signed up on my rotation 5 years ago. Have a look back. I'm at commander level now. Nice stipend at the end of every week of 25 gold. Thank you very much. Could be you in a couple of years. You never know. He's pointing at Lopan.
Okay, I'm gonna take it and sign it. My loopy script.
Lovely. And he kind of reaches under his long desk and pulls out a box, and there's like trinkets and jingle jangles. And he kind of like, right, here we go. And he kind of brings out like a small pouch that he opens up, and inside you hear clanking of tin, and he reaches out and he puts 3 battered badges on the desk. He's like, right, and he kind of gives them a bit of a wipe. These are your badges of office. Look after them better, hopefully, than the last 3. And you see him as he's rubbing one of them, and he kind of looks a bit like he's trying to scrub a bit of blood off one of them, as he kind of hands them over to you individually. Now, let me see, power outage, and he kind of looks at the board behind him, and he kind of puts his finger up and he starts scrolling down. Right, yes. Right, oh, okay, I forgot, yeah. Right, well, I put a lieutenant on the case this morning, and he hasn't reported back in yet, which is unlike him. Right, yes. You will be going... Let me see now. I'm trying to think of directions. You want to go about 5 streets over, and he kind of points over, and he starts walking back out towards the main door that you came in, and he gestures off to the right, leading off down another street. You want to go 5 streets over that way, take the 5th right turn, then a left, then another left, and then a right.
I'm writing this down, even though...
Right turn, a left, and then a right. And you'll get there, don't worry. I'm not going to make you forget where you're going. Roll survival check to see if you got the directions. And he's like, he's generally gone off in that direction. Lieutenant Wilson is his name. He's a young lad, only on the job 2 years, but resourceful. Very good, keen mind, willing to learn. Not very good in a fight yet, but we're getting there. So he headed off in that direction this morning around just after breakfast, actually. So he's been gone about 6-7 hours. That's the general direction you want to go. He was going to ask for the main
arcade station.
The arcade station is run by a bunch of they're a mishmash of individuals. So again, like the shields, there's shifts on that as well from different ships. But let me see now. He takes out a notepad and flips through it. Yes. Right. The Drunk Dryad is the name of the ship. Crew that are manning that at the moment. So it will more than likely be Marlowe who is going to be in charge of that shift. So Marlowe, so you're going to be asking for, and then Lieutenant Wilson will be the person I sent. I am going to go have the remaining 5 minutes of my lunch and hear the end of Roxana's thrilling tale. And hopefully I will see you back here with a report, and hopefully Lieutenant Wilson, if he hasn't croaked it.
It could be like having his break like you guys are, but it's a long lunch. I've heard you have them. Oh God, look at my badge. It's got a little crimson tinge to it. Deadly. But yeah. As
you look on the badge, you see on the badge, it's a regular shaped badge, but on it, it has the shape of a kite shield. So it's got that kind of upside down teardrop shape. And in the center of the kite shield, it's got a large clenched fist like this, but it's all red. Everything's red.
I was saying red because there's blood on it, but okay.
Yeah. But no, the dried blood is more of a browny blacky color. But yeah, so he gives you Genji gives you the directions off to where the power station, the arcane power station, was meant to be, that he thinks it is, and he tells you the name of the individual that they sent, Lieutenant Wilson, that he sent there this morning, to look for an individual called Marlowe. What do the group want to do at this point?
Well, we're not doing that Tom Hanks thing again, isn't that right? He's called Wilson, but we're not still doing the Tom Hanks thing.
No.
We can do the Dennis the Menace thing. Mr. Wick.
That's where my brain went to.
All right. So we figure we're going to be doing investigation and possibly find this lad slumped over a fuse box or something, arcane fuse box.
I could be having a late lunch, just really long lunch,
or head to the fuse box and just find his arm a la Jurassic Park.
Oh yeah.
Hold on to your butts.
He's alive somewhere else though, without his hand. That's what happened. Right?
He just lost his arm.
And just moved on. So we're gonna go where we're supposed to go, I presume.
Yeah.
And we're gonna hasten our booties. And and see if where this chunkful is about. We'll keep our eyes open anyway for someone in the rig out. He's wearing the rig out, right?
He's got it was like he's a red shield operative, so you expect them to have the well-kept armor that they all wear.
Z is low-key delighted that she did not have to put on the red attire because it would ruin her aesthetic.
For sure.
It's only day one. You're going to get the uniform after a couple of weeks, I think.
Lopan's smiling to himself, thinking maybe a badge collection would be a good thing. Is where we're going past where I might pick up a crossbow, that place, or is it like in the
No,
opposite?
it's in the totally opposite direction.
Deadly. Well, I'll do it at the end of this thing.
Why didn't you do it during the shopping montage?
Because it was off in the other direction.
It was, yeah, it's the wrong way.
Lopan
He was
just
trying to
like,
be
you know,
considerate, like.
being
Ah,
nice
it's
and
very
accommodating like
considerate.
he is, you know.
Yeah.
So you is all making your way towards the arcane power station?
Indeed.
Yeah,
Okay. So
sounds like one of Jill's bands.
Oh, my head is
I would've
sorry,
liked to
Arcane. My head was already singing 1,000 Miles. Sorry, based on the making her.
Yeah, we're always
Comment.
making
Well, what was the one of my bands? Arcane what?
Arcane
Arcane
Power Station.
Arcane Power Station will be one
I
of
like
your
it, yeah.
bands, yeah.
I do
Yeah.
like it, yeah.
That needs to be Grey's new song.
Oh yeah, maybe. We'll see.
Arcane Power Station to the tune of No Push City Limit.
Oh my god.
There you go.
Watch
It's a
out,
good- it's a
don't
good-
worry.
Tina, in honor of
It's a good,
Tina.
good homage to Tina Turner there.
Yeah.
It is.
They call it Arcane Power Station.
That's tenuous, lads. That's me saying that.
Yeah. So it takes you about a good bit of about 15 to 20 minutes to kind of get to the general direction that you're going and to find the kind of, there's no signage for this, but you do notice that every now and again as you're going along the streets there are flare-ups on the street lamps. Even though they're off, there's a flare-up every now and again the
Right.
closer you get to the direction that Genji sent you in.
Okay.
And you turn, like you take the final turn on your directions you were given, and it kind of goes down into a slope and then it opens out into a wide open area that then is fenced in, like some wooden fences that has a large gate at the front, and you see signage that says Arcane Switching Station, authorized access only, in rough scrawl on a sign outside. And there is an individual kind of sitting there, kind of half awake, sloped in a chair, wearing the equivalent, a fantasy equivalent of a high vis vest. As he's just like it's like bright leather, that's draped over like a kind of like it's like a waistcoat that's bright greeny yellow, faded in parts, and it's just draped over his large rotund form of this kind of grey skinned. You don't even know if it's an orc or a human or some mixture of troll. Squat, broad-shouldered, bald individual with a mashed face, big bulbous nose, large cauliflower ears, and a kind of a large jutting jaw. As they're just sitting there, scars all over their face, and they're just kind of propped in a booth made of rough and tumble wood off to one side, and they're just kind of half dozing in a chair as you approach this area.
Okay, so I presume we're walking up. We walking up?
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah.
Hopping.
yeah. Gonna go up. Hi. Sir, we're here to maybe help with the power problems.
I'm sorry. You woke me up there. Sorry about that. Sorry, you need to help with what?
There are problems with the power, is that right?
I just look after the gate. That's all I do. I mean, do you have authorization?
Yeah, we do. We flash our badges.
Point at the badge, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, you're from Shields. Oh, right. Right. Well, hang on. One of you were here this morning. You were in. Ready? Are you back up?
Did he?
Yeah,
come
no,
out?
we're here to get him maybe.
I mean, I've been here since this morning. I mean, I may have dozed off a bit, but nobody came out at all. He's rubbing his face a bit. He's like, he's like a narrowed-looking dude. Like it's just very much one eye looking in one direction, the other one looking in the other. And he's like, well, I didn't see nobody leave. He definitely went in though. I mean, and he kind of hang on. And he kind of reaches over and hits a crank, nearly falls off his chair as he does it. And like, they hear a load of mechanisms working. It's like, oh, and the front gate, like, slowly opens. The tree, you just stand there looking at it. As
This is a very unsympathetic portrayal of this person.
So he is like, well, yeah, by all means, you've got the authority as shields, I suppose. I think he was a young lad. Went to meet one of the foremans, I think, had him by name. But in you go.
Well, sorry,
Very
like,
good. Yeah.
what was the fireman's name?
I look after the gate.
It's kind of getting you were going to say that, but you look after that, like, man, doing a deadly job, like.
Yeah.
I don't giggle, obviously, in his face,
Yeah,
but we
same.
make our way. We make our way through. Jill and Kim do laugh at Darren, but our characters.
But Gray
do
and Zell don't.
not. No.
I don't know if they even can laugh.
See if she gets hit with his Tasha's hideous laughter at some point. See what happens.
Yeah.
So all the three of you make your way into the kind of the open area as the gates open in front of you, and just as all three of you step in, the gates close behind you, and you're left in what looks like a large kind of builder's yard. There's the kind of large piles of timber and what looks like woven cable that has arcane symbols engraved into it at all different intersections that weave around each other. Long kind of threads of that all piled and coiled up in large piles off to one side. Then off to the left, you see a huge pile of what look like disused energy crystals. Still not too different to, say, the frost crystal you have in your hand. These are like larger, well-hewn, sharp edges, like the full-on metabolus crystals, but they look like they have the energy drained out of them, and they're all kind of like discharged and sitting to one side. There is nobody around. You see kind of cabins and huts off to one side, and then at the back of the area, you see another large kind of arched doorway that is closed, and it has like loads of symbols on it written in different languages, saying main switching station, authorized individuals only, and there's like large crops of tools, boxes, materials all piled around this, but again, no sign of anyone. And you don't hear anyone, you don't see any movement. It's like a ghost town.
I am going to start a sentence without knowing what the end of the sentence is. What do we think about that?
Excellent.
I want to check what I have here. No, I think I got rid of a lot of my investigation spells because I reckoned I wouldn't do it as well as Zill did. Yeah, could we just mooch? Can we mooch around?
You can, yeah. Give me an investigation check, please.
Okay. $18.
Okay. You start to look around all the piles of materials, and you look in a couple of the cabins, and you see that there's signs of life. There's like half-eaten food, cold cups of what seem to be coffee, teas, beverages. There hasn't been anyone here in a while.
Can I tell from the temperature roughly how many hours?
About 5 hours roughly.
Okay. With
that roll, you can tell it's at least 5 hours. There hasn't been any disturbance here. Like, the food is fresh enough. It's not gone stale. There's no mold, so it looks like somebody was eating breakfast at some point, and then they got up and left. But there's no sign of any struggle. There's no displaced furniture. It's just like an eerie scene of people were here and then they just weren't.
Based on how much food there is, how many people do you think were here?
That roll, let's say you'd probably guess there's about 10 people overall throughout the compound, throughout this entire area. It's about 10 individuals. And like, if everyone wants to give me an investigation check, if you're all looking around, I can give you a bit more information.
I'm looking at footprints just on the ground just to see if there's anything that takes Lopan's a 12.
I also rolled an 18.
Okay.
Nice.
So Lopan, you see a trail of footprints all leading towards that large arched doorway at the far end. Zil, as you're looking around and you're inspecting these large crystals and the long rope that seems to be engraved with arcane symbols, you notice that there's actually a lot of this rope is tied up and leading through the base of the doorway and under it. And every now and again, when you walk past it, you feel a slight hum of arcane energy feeding through what this seems to be. And it's kind of going out across the yard, at the edges, and around and through the doorway, underneath the door. Seem to be divots in the ground to feed the cabling in.
So all signs point to that doorway then.
Oh no, I just seen footprints. No signs like, but yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I presume if we want to take the time, we'd be able to get a list of who's supposed to be here today. Probably not from our doorman or gate person. But I reckon there was supposed to be 10 people here, and then maybe plus one, maybe Wilson as well. So
Gray,
yeah.
in your investigation, you do see a roster on a clipboard stuck to a wall.
It was
And you see it. Yeah, at the top of it, then you see the like foreman, Marlowe, and then a list of worker names, of mixtures of names all below it, up to about 12 people.
Okay. All right. So a lot of people left here of their own accord and didn't go out through the gate. So we got to go this way, right?
Like, they could be in there having lunch, like. Sorry, like, I actually, hang on, like, I'll fix this, and I take that fruit out again, and I take a little bit. It's like, do you want something? Seeing that them eating, like, just got it in my head, now I can't get out of it, so. And I offer the food.
I'm good. I'll probably get something when we're done here.
No worries. Like, put it back down. Sorry, like.
Gray says, cursing everyone to 4 rounds of combat. Okay, so yeah, we going through here?
The door is, if you're going to try and push the door, it isn't locked, so it opens very easily. It just seems to swing on hinges, and you notice then as you're pushing through, the cabling leads into, and it's just as the doors open, it seems to be just darkness beyond. But then the cabling draws your eye, and you see it go out, and then down. As the ground, which is all dirt and clay and wooded boards that make up kind of pathways here, seems to go out about 20-30 feet and then just drops into nothing as the cables go off an edge and down. And the 3 of you kind of move in, and you see that there is a light glow now off the cables as it gets closer to this edge, and they're thrumming. And Zil and Gray, as you walk up, you can definitely feel the arcane energy. And you,
right.
What are you doing? Are you going near the edge? Are you staying back?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm maintaining my balance. I've got good balance, obviously, but I am going not dangerously, but to the edge so I can see what's going on.
Yeah, probably not to the edge of glory, really, just to the edge.
No, just to the edge.
Just to the edge. So
on the edge. I'm in that bit of the song.
Yeah. So you're on the edge, slightly, and you're looking over, and as you're looking over, then it's like a wave of heat. It's like when you open a car on a hot day, and that heat just hits your face. As you're all peering over, there's like a wave of hot air, just like. And your fur is blown back, and Lopan, your kind of fur is blown back, and Zil, your hair is tousled a bit. As you're kind of looking down, and you see these cables disappear, and there's now more of them as they all seem to branch off. And it's a massive wide gap, about 120 feet across, and you can barely make out the other side of where there's more cables. And it's like a whole thing is rimmed with just these cables that are going down into nothing. And there's a humming blue light off in the distance. As you just feel this warmth coming up. I need everyone to make a wisdom saving throw for me, please.
Oh shit!
I'm going to use my stout dice.
13.
Okay.
I rolled 17. That's 18.
Okay.
Nice.
15.
So Zara and Gray, as you're leaning over, and that heat hits you in the face, you just hear in the back of your mind a pained voice that just says one word: jump. And Lopan, you watch, because you both failed your roll, but Lopan made his. Lopan, you watch as both Gray and Zilzara just jump off the edge and disappear into the pit below. And that's where we're going to go to break.
I jumped into the pit.
Oh my God, Wayne.
So, folks, we'll be back in a couple of minutes. We're going to take a quick break here, get a drink, and do whatever we got to do. And I'll be back with our giveaway, announcing the winner of last month's giveaway, or the last episode's giveaway, and then announcing the prize for this giveaway for this episode. Look after yourselves. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. And welcome back, folks. Just back from a break, and I did go to get the giveaway prize from the last episode, but it's in my study, my office, and it's now 11:30 at night. My daughter's in bed, and I didn't want to wake her up, so I wasn't able to grab it. But we do have a copy of Elric, the Bane of the Black Sword, to give away to a lucky winner. So I need somebody to roll me a D4, please.
Okay.
Yeah, Jill.
Go ahead, Jill.
Whoever. Yeah, Jill.
That was number 3.
Number 3. It goes to Barry Doyle, 2892. So congratulations,
Barry.
Barry. It's all yours.
Barry.
I'll reach out to you. We'll get your address off you. I don't know if you want anything from us before, but we'll get your details off you. We'll have that whisked out to you in the post ASAP. Now, the giveaway prize, thanks to Dublin City Comics for this month, is a beaut, particularly if you are a fan of the Crystal Shard story, this trilogy, or series of books by R.A. Salvatore. So this is the Legend of Grezz visual dictionary, and it is gorgeous. I cannot stress how beautiful this book is. The art in it, it's just basically all about the story of Grezz, or Drizzt, whatever the fuck you want to pronounce it. All about his, his story, the people that he meets on his adventures, all of the gear and the kit of all the characters. Like, this is a beautiful, beautiful book. It's only just out. It's only out about a month or so, and like, there's our Regis sitting there. Look, if you're, this is a really, really good book, and the question that you need to answer: name one of. So this is a multi-choice here. Name one of the companions of the hall. Name one of any of them, apart from Drizzt. Drizzt the Warden is the main guy that's there, but there are 3 other characters, or technically 4 other characters. 4, yeah, we'll say there's 4 other characters that you can name. Name one of them. Put it in the answer below. Share the video, this episode, on social media, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, Instagram, tagging Irish Pubcast. Share the video, get the word out there about Irish Pubcast and Sorcery Shenanigans, and you're in a chance to win that book. This could be winging its way to you. We'll announce the winner on the next episode. It's a beautiful, beautiful book released by DK. It's just filled with beautiful art, loads of stuff about the characters in the story, and like locations, the works, and it is really, for any fan of D&D, any fan of the Companions of the Hall storyline, it's well worth. So do enter. It's huge. It's a nice big book as well. I have a copy of this myself. It's really, really nice. So name one of the other 4 Companions of the Hall below in the comments, and share the video on social media. Thank you to Dublin City Comics, our sponsor, for continuing to give away prizes. To Doc and Des in there, top folks. Go check them out at dublincitycomics.ie, or go into their store on Capel Street and check out the plethora of fantastic stuff and shiny things that they have for you to peruse and purchase. Okay, without further ado,
Yeah.
we will get back to our story. So Lopan has just seen both Gray and Zilzara look up and leap down into this chasm, rimmed with cabling, arcane cabling that's giving off this pulse and this kind of waft of heat that's coming from this pit below and an eerie blue light off in the distance. Lopan, what are you doing?
Well, I finished the word that people might not have heard me say at the end, which is Olix. You can guess what the beginning of that word was when that happened. And I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? I knew I should have learned how to bloody fly. Like other fairies have like wings. I got big ears, bollocks. I kind of quickly start getting a rope out of my backpack. Actually, no, screw that. There's power lines that are going off and down. Yeah,
Cables, yeah, the cables are all running all
do
the way
they
down.
look like they're electric?
They look like they're arcane. They have arcane symbols on them. They're glowing slightly, but you are not a spellcaster, so you don't really have a fucking clue.
Fuck it, I've got like, not that I can do anything if I do catch up with them, but I'm gonna run and kind of jump onto the ropes and grab onto them and
Okay.
like, shoot down. I've got my hooded lantern lit because that's what I was doing when they jumped. Because I
Okay.
can't really see. Hooded lantern is lit. It's at my belt, so I don't have to hang on to it. I'm running, grabbing onto the ropes. I'm going over and trying to fly down to catch up with them.
Okay. You kind of are you going at full tilt? Are you just basically leaping off and just holding on and or flying down? Or are you carefully moving down these large ropes?
As quickly as I can. Well, actually, no. As quickly as I can, but if I fall, like let's say I get down there and they need medical attention.
Sure.
I'm no good to the group if I fall and crack myself. So I'm going to go down as quick as I can, but as carefully as I can.
Okay. You have a movement speed of 30 feet. Okay.
Mhm.
So it's quite a drop. It's quite a drop. So you start making your way towards what you think the base is. Okay. Zilzara and Gray.
Yeah.
You jumped, and that voice in the back of your head, pain. It sounded like a voice that was in pain, but it was basically urging you to jump, to throw yourself into the chasm.
Yeah.
And it's like there was a wash of blue light over your vision. And next of all, you find yourselves just sailing through the air and down into the chasm in unison. Think of the scene from Bill and Ted where they're just falling forever through the pit and they're like paying 20 questions. It's literally that for a couple of split seconds. The two of you were side by side falling. And then that kind of rush of heat and air rushes up towards you and catches you. And you seem to start slowly but surely just start to slow down.
Buffeting down.
And you float and you get to the end and you just hit. So as you're coming down, you start to see into focus. The cabling is all around you. You can see around this large chasm that you're falling into, that this arcane cabling is running down into the ground. And you can feel the arcane energy all around you as you fall. It's like ozone whizzing, but smell of ozone and taste of kind of copper in your mouth as you whiz past it. But then start to slow. And you see the cabling kind of come down on either side of you. And then you start to see the ground come into focus. And the cable curves and goes again, mats all together on the floor, tangled and twisted and turned and knotted as these cables twist and turn around each other. And they seem to have formed like a bed. And you just gently float and then find yourselves just falling gently, face first, on your front of your bodies, onto the ground. You don't incur any fall damage. You kind of land. There's no kind of dazed feel. You do feel a bit of a headache at the back of your head following that voice urging you to jump. But you both land safely. And that hot air is muggy all around you as you feel it's thick. And that energy, that arcane energy is stronger here. So these collection of cables now that are pulsing with this as you see blue kind of like energy crackling off it and then there's a wave feeding through them. And Zilzara, you especially feel it, and like your crystal is humming. Even that frost crystal, you can feel it in your bag. It's like a pulsation. There's just energy all around you. Magic. This whole air is filled with magic. What are the two of you doing at this point?
Straight over to Zil to see if she landed the same way as I did. And I say, did you hear it too? Did you hear the voice?
Try and understand it. I said, did you hear the... Can you... Jill?
Yeah.
Did you hear? Did you hear Gray?
Yeah, sorry, I did hear Gray. I was like, oh, you mean the jump?
Yeah, the voice in our heads that I was wondering if you were.
Yeah, not a fan.
Yeah, that was weird. And whoever it was, they really sounded like they were in peril.
How the hell did they manage to get in there? Like,
I don't know. Where are we? Ugh, that isn't the dumbest question.
So how big is the area around us, Wayne? Like, is it?
So
is it dark? Is it lit?
It is that kind of blue light is.
It is now.
There's like a blue hum and a blue glow all around you. Like the whole area is lit up by this arcane light that just seems to be coming from around you. So like there's like a dull blue hue everywhere. It's not bright in any way, shape, or form. It's very much like with your dark vision. Do you have 100? Is 120 feet on you? Do you have ability on
something
that?
Ridiculous. Like 120.
So
I have 60.
Yeah, you can both see in here. You can see your surroundings, and you look up and you see the kind of the shaft that you've fallen down. And with 120 feet, Zilzara, you just make out off in the distance, slowly but surely clambering down the cabling. You see the small small form of Lopan as he's just scaling down the cables. And you can just make him out. He's just at the edge of your peripheral vision of 120 feet.
Looks like Lopan may be making his way down to us.
Yeah, a little bit more voluntary, I think. Do you see anyone down here?
Do I?
Give me a perception check, please.
Perception.
You should not have opened that can with so much gusto.
I rolled a 20, so 21.
Wow. You start to look around and you can see that there are elements of debris and tools and other equipment that has been left here that is lying around. You see some clothes off to one side, a small piece of armor. It is red, it's like a piece of armor, like a part of a greave or a kind of a glove of some sort.
And does it look like the clothes have been removed, or people have been disappeared from inside of them?
No, there's only parts of it. So look, there are some
damage.
scarring and damage on the sides.
Okay.
There is no blood. There is no viscous. There's no body parts. It's just parts of clothing, parts of armor, parts of tools and stuff like that seem to be charred and burnt in parts. Yeah, there's no obvious kind of display of any bodies. There's no dead people here. It's just a kind of debris, but it's leading off down into, so the cabling goes off into a large opening. It looks like with that roll as well, looking around and with your vision, the cabling, while it's there and it's matted and it's all twisted and it runs along the floor of what looks like a tunneled out, like it's not a natural formations, like people have gone through this, tunneled a large kind of chasm that leads away into the distance, and you can see that the cabling runs off through it. and that blue hue is disappearing off into the distance.
And that's the only way out of the pit that we're in. No.
Bar going back up the way you came.
Bar going back up. Okay. So it looks like the cables will lead us out that direction. Should we go in the direction of, yeah.
I mean, maybe. I wonder
chasm.
what's generating. Do we know what's generating the power here? Apart from just saying magic, do we know?
Nobody has been able to give
I
you an
have
answer
no
for that
idea
question.
yet.
Yeah. Nobody's been able to give you that answer.
Okay.
It's made out of people. Should we perhaps wait for Lopan to catch up before we head the only obvious direction?
Yeah.
Like,
For
yes,
sure.
we could
Yeah.
absolutely get back up, but I don't think we're going to get any answers if we leave the way we came down.
No, I agree.
Like Lopan isn't too far. Like, he's making good distance. He's got 30 feet distance. So he's pretty good.
He's a
walking.
fast bunny.
Yeah. And like Lopan, it's up to yourself. You could probably jump down the last, say, 20 feet without any
Well, again,
damage.
I only have 20. That's the one problem with Lopan. Well, there's many problems with Lopan, but one of them is that his vision is good as long as you don't switch off the lights.
Yeah.
I only have my my hooded lantern, which is it's 20 feet at the moment because I am kind of worried that there might be enemies down there and I might have to go stealth if things go awry. So I am hurrying as quickly as I can.
Yeah, so you move your full 30 feet. You were 120 feet away from when Zilzara saw you. She could see you coming down. So within the space of a couple of minutes, you eventually start making your way, and you get to a 20 feet distance. You can see the two of them down there, perfectly okay, standing, looking up at you, and looking around them as you're coming down.
I'm gonna say I'm just like, oh, Deadly, is there alive? Good. Either that or you're the weird kind of like I'm seeing ghosts. Maybe you are alive, right? Like I'm not suddenly seeing dead people.
Yeah.
That could be
No,
a
we're
thing.
here.
Unless I have a track history of like a lot of dead bodies in my past, that could get awkward then. Oh, thank God! How? Like it's about 140 feet, and like I know you're dexterous, but like you need to be a little bit more nimble with the rolling too, especially hitting this floor. Check the floor to make sure it's not rubber.
You do.
Yeah,
You check the floor.
Yeah, I'm like, this is where my brain's going. It's like,
It's surprisingly, the cabling, the way it's all kind of piled on top of itself here, is actually quite springy. It's a bit kind of rubbery. You do get a bit of a bounce on it, like 'cause it's just all this soft cabling that's like. But as Lopan is doing this, you get a bit of a headache in the back of your mind because the arcane energy is just going. Every time he's jumping, it's just going. And
unless I'm told, I know I'm not really good with arcanes, but if this is
he hasn't got a clue.
I'm going to see how good it is about, like, if it's a possibility to jump all the way back up.
Okay, my fleet-footed friend, maybe stop doing.
Oh, sorry, like, it's just, like, this, is this why you didn't become brown bread, like, Did it just kind of put a spring in your step, so to speak?
I don't think it was the floor per se, but whatever you're doing there is kind of twisting my melon, man.
Oh no! I'll just go with the natural bouncing, but this is new, like coming kind of handy if you were
before you joined us, Lopan. I know your eyesight is not great in these situations, but there is a way out if we follow the cabling as opposed to we think well, it's a way out of this chamber that's alternative to the way we came in and also we may actually get some answers.
Like, did I miss a nod and a wink? Like, why just jump off it?
We heard a voice.
Compulsion?
Yeah, we were forced to.
They're like, all right, I know I can't give out about that. I've known to listen to the voices myself, but all right.
I like a good jump. You're forced to.
But yeah, if like that with
Anyway.
that these ropes, well, they've got all those wizardly sorcery kind of symbols that I don't know anything about. They're sturdy enough, and well, if they were electric, I would be talking to you, unless I'm the ghost.
Ghost.
Well, hang on. I pinch myself. No, unless go. I've never asked the ghost if they feel pain, but look, I'm gonna go with they don't, or else they'd be pinching themselves a lot and going out. But anyway, yeah, like we can get back up using those weird cable ropes. But you're saying there's another way that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Zill's
sorry,
also gonna
we can
Zill's
go
also
to
gonna
Trixie.
Zill's also gonna poke Lopan, but like do it that little bit too hard because she's like that. But just to she's like, see, you are real.
Ow. I mean, yeah, Daddy, like that's good to know. Unless I'm the first ghost, like, rabbit folk that can feel pain, but like could write a book about me. That'd be deadly. But anyway, yeah, like, yeah. So you're saying this way? And I squint because I can't see for shit past my 30-foot light.
Yeah, I think maybe since I clearly have the best vision, I should probably go first.
Yeah, we can do that. I'll take up the rear. My vision isn't bad, just in case anything tries sneaking up on us.
Also, your hearing is pretty great. Actually, you two don't do too badly in the elf hearing department.
No,
like-
pretty good.
And I do take off my glasses, and it's like, unfortunately, these just make me vision a little bit better. They don't actually allow me to see in the dark. Although now that I've said it, is that a thing? Can I get glasses that do that? That'd be cool.
You never know what that market might have.
I'll add it to the list.
So, all right, the three of you making your way into the kind of the opening in the large kind of tunneled out area.
Yeah.
It's pretty samey for a fair chunk of time. It's like the you do see the odd remnant of debris or clothing and the odd what looks like a kind of a cutting tool or a large kind of bladish thing that wouldn't, but it's not a weapon. Definitely used for cutting this type of cable. You do see one or two more pieces of the red armor that the red shields wear. Not significant pieces, like another pauldron or a greave or something, like, or it's like but it's a small piece, like it's not like a full piece of it, like you've only seen about 2 or 3 pieces of these. Yeah.
Just while we're seeing this, it's just occurred to me, Lopan's gonna pause and maybe just look at to see if these were taken off, ripped off. Is there any blood? Is I know my brain's going, well, if they were ordered to jump, maybe they could have been ordered to do other things. Like, so if was the armor taken off or
give me an investigation check, please.
Dang. Well, let me down these little dice. Okay, you have. That's a 7.
You can't really tell. You can see that there's one particular thing you do notice. It's very obvious, is that the straps for this particular piece of armor looks like they were cut. So like somebody took a blade to this and cut the strap that holds them on. So it's very obviously cut off. So somebody cut this off. Whether it was the person that was wearing it or somebody else did it, you're not 100% sure. Now, you are walking for about good 20 to 30 minutes, and it's pretty much, as far as you can tell, a straight line. But there is starting to become more of a kind of a decline. It's starting to kind of slope downwards, so you feel like you're going deeper in the underground. There we are.
There you are. You were waiting for it. I saw you.
I was like, it was either yourself or Kim were going to get Jamiroquai on me there.
Well, where I ended up was into the big hole.
I was going to wait and kind of mumble.
Yeah, or filling the crevasse with your mighty juice or something along those lines.
Yes.
And you kind of, it starts to, you kind of get to the bottom of this slope, you see that it's the kind of the tunnel starts to curve around, and the cabling starts to move up along the sides of the walls and twist down and around as it seems to drop down again. But the light is very bright now, and it's like The heat is starting to get extremely oppressive and very heavy, and particularly for the two magic users, it's like a dizziness. It's like there's something pushing its way out here, and ever so slightly on the edge of your awareness, you just hear the voice again, and it's just in pain. It's like it's just a groan. It's not even words. It's just a groan, like an element of pain. Like there's no other way to go. You all kind of follow the path down.
Yeah.
And you carefully but surely make your way down into this area. And it comes down and drops into a flat piece of ground. And the cabling runs along the wall and up onto the ceiling and then down again into a large, what seems to be an opening for a chamber. You step through into the chamber. And your brain takes a moment, all of your brains take a moment to adjust to what you're looking at. There are multiple crystals, like the ones you saw up on the surface. And they are all like laid out in a circular fashion. And it's similar. You've seen something like this before. Back a long time ago when you first got together and you were in the cave with the cultists, when you saw them screwing in crystals into an altar to try and open a dimensional gate. And your minds go back to that site. But it's not exactly like that. They are arranged in a circle around. You can't really tell what this is. But in the center of this circle of crystals that are all pulsing but sputtering every now and again with blue energy as cables run up into the base of them and then pulse with light. In the center of this is a massive, massive circular stone altar. And in the center of it, with huge tendrils, what look like flesh and kind of like something, like it's definitely meat of some sort, emanating from this huge mound with a huge beaked mouth in the center, with a tongue that's lolling, and the flesh looks decayed and kind of rotten in parts. And in the center of the body is a huge bulbous eye. Let me see now. What check would we roll for this? Just to see what you know, what you don't know.
History?
Getting yourself dice.
Well, just kind of like to see what your knowledge base is on this. Roll me a nature check, whoever wants to. Roll me a nature check.
Okay, I'll do one.
Okay.
So you see this huge form.
Ooh, 18.
Okay. This huge form in front of you, and it's weird.
15.
Parts of the flesh, it's actually forming into brick and mortar. Other parts of the flesh seem to be melding into wood. And parts of it, like this thing is gigantic. It is huge. You're talking about 200 feet tall, right in the center of this chamber. As you step in and look up at it, and all of these circles that are around it and the crystals seem to be drawing energy off it, as this huge form of different components and elements all melded together. But it's definitely a creature that it's getting drained. So 18, 15, Darren, what did you roll?
19. I don't have any
19.
but I rolled really well on my list.
Darren and Zilzara. It takes you a minute. Gray, you're kind of like, what the fuck? But it takes the two of you a minute, and then it just clicks all of a sudden. Because you haven't really seen one of these as big, and you definitely haven't seen it in this state before. But this is a great mimic. And it seems to be plugged into a large power kind of crystalline circle, and it has been drained of its energy, and it is feeding the city.
Oh, man.
This particular part of the city anyway.
But it's not well.
It definitely
Or-
looks like it's seen a better time before. Like
Right.
it's like there's parts of it that are trying to change, and it's fluctuating and moving as you look at it. You can see parts of the skin shifting and trying to meld into stone, trying to blend with the floor around it. Even parts of it trying to become crystalline to mimic the crystals that it's draining the energy off. At the base of it, you see a collection of bodies that
Oh, no.
are kind of that the tendrils from the mimic are reaching out to and grasping onto, and one by one pulling into its form, as if it's trying to feed on them in some way.
It's
Or-
making people.
and trying to pulling it into itself. It doesn't seem to notice you because its eye, it's like its lidless eye that's open, is just kind of swirling and half baked. But in the back of your mind, you hear that agonizing groan again, as something is trying to reach out to you and call you forward.
Do we think and sorry, that groan is the same voice that we heard before
That's
we
you
jumped
think,
off?
as far as
So,
you're aware, yeah. As far as
so
you're
where
aware.
it was a well, sorry, I don't want to speak for Gray, but based on what she's heard and felt so far, she is pretty convinced that it's the mimic calling out to us. It's in pain. It looks, from your description, it looks shite. Okay.
Oh,
And
yeah.
sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Zil.
All I was gonna say was, so mimics, I don't know anything about us. Are they typically violent creatures? Are like
With that nature check, you rolled an 18, and you know a bit about like in general mimics, depending on the size. Like you have regular mimics that are like can be tiny, then you have other mimics that can be quite large, and then you have the great
this one
mimics.
is fucking
This is
kaiju mimic.
huge, but they're not usually this big.
Right.
Roll me a history check if you want to know anything about the history of mimics. Darren, you can get in on this as well because you rolled a 19
totally.
if you want.
I love
Rolled a
main
7.
character. I know nothing.
7.
What do you want us to roll?
History, please.
Right. I'll roll history, good sir. I'll do it on the computers. Oh, not 20.
Wow.
Nice.
Oh,
Lopan, you were aware of you've dealt with mimics in the past. You've seen them all shapes and sizes. You've never seen one this big. And it doesn't make sense. They're only meant to grow about 15 feet, maybe 20 at a push. But this one is massive.
I've never. Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, but that's the thing that hits you straight. It's so strange to see something this large because for all of the stories you've heard and all the mimics you've seen in your travels and all the ones you've fought as well, generally they hide in order to feed. They hide and pretend to be something they're not in order to trap somebody. And the greater mimics that can take human form and just live among, because they're more coherent. They think for themselves to a degree. But if this is a greater mimic or a great mimic, it's too big. There's something off about this.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Is if you don't know, that's a greater mimic, and I've dealt with mimics in the past. Like they come in all shapes and forms. Like you can get chair mimics, table mimics, even ship mimics. The worst one was like surprise mimics, and now I know what you're getting at. You're thinking that they're hiding and they come out and they go boo, but no, they actually come in the shape of presents, and you'd open it thinking that it's your best day, you're going to get something, but you get dead because it eats you because you stick to the damn thing, and then it just goes on. But yeah, there was loads of rumors you can get weapon mimics and stuff, and bag mimics, and don't get me started on the bag mimics. When I got told about them, I couldn't open stuff for a week, and then same with the press mimics, but that's another story. But yeah, I've never seen them this big, and I'm kind of me gut feels like out of character. They are there's no change in them. They are an aggressive thing. All they do is wait, and when they find someone, eat them. Is that pretty much what I get? Or is...
The majority of from this, you can tell that this one is in pain of some sort. It definitely doesn't seem right. But you can't really tell what's causing the problem. But it definitely looks like, from looking around all of you can see this, that it looks like this mimic is in the center of what looks like an energy drain. Like the energy's coming off it. It does have, as a close inspection, those cables at its base, for the most part, it does have some of those cables injected into it, and they seem to be feeding off into the crystals, which are then feeding off into the cabling around that goes off back up into the city. As you're all talking there, you are looking and you see movement at the base of it that isn't the pile of bodies. And stepping out from behind it, you see a 7-foot-tall lizard folk individual. Green scales, kind of large head fin that folds back down their neck, spikes along the sides and ridges of their cheeks and down around their chin to a point that looks like a beard of spikes that points out at the bottom. Large flared nostrils, huge glassy eyes with red slits down the center. Tattoos across the top of their head. And then, Zil, as you're looking, tattoos across their neck. And tattoos across their clavicle and around their shoulders. Glowing green. Very similar to the tattoos you are now adorned with. And as they kind of flick their head out, you notice that on the edge of the cave, you now see more people appearing. Hooded figures stepping out from the darkness, all holding blades, faces covered. Kind of dark bluish, greenish robes that shimmer. About 20 in total, as the three of you stand there, as this large 7-foot-tall lizard folk steps in. Well, this is interesting. And he kind of cocks his head. I don't know you. Do you? And he points at Zildara. You bear her mark. How? Now is not the time. You have interrupted this ritual. We can't abide with interruptions. And he snaps his long taloned fingers, and all 20 individuals on the edge of the cave leap forward, blades out, and they begin to charge. And that's where we're going to end this month's episode of Sorcery
Oh,
Shenanigans.
shit.
Oh.
Unattempted murder as usual.
Yeah.
Okay, folks. Congratulations to Barry Doyle for winning this month's prize.
Oh, Barry.
Well done, Barry.
Of the Black Sword. This is the giveaway. Don't forget, from thanks to Dempsey Comics, The Legend of Grezz visual dictionary. Name one of the other 4 companions of the hall. Put the answer in the comments below. Share the video on social media: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. And you'll find us on all of them. And don't forget to tag the Irish Pubcast. Thank you so much for checking us out. Go check out our sponsors, DublinCityComics.ie and DakotaIrish.com. I have been your DM, Wayne. These have been your players. Yeah, Kim, you can say.
No.
Say
I was
are.
doing our usual outro.
Usual. We have to have outros. I think we're 10 episodes in. We don't even have a proper structure for our outros, but
I know.
They've been your players. And yeah, that's them. There they are.
Thanks for watching.
Check us out. Like, subscribe, all that malarkey. Tell people about us. Go check myself out on D8 Dungeons Random DMs on Thursday, June the 8th, and then every second Thursday after that. Until next time, folks, look after yourselves. Take care.
Thank you.